journey, and I know that I want to get you engaged in my journey. So I am getting the elements ready. We have our coffee, and we're going to get some fresh made. And we got the pod, and it is Dunkin' hazelnuts. I don't know. I just got home from the hospital, and I'm just going to kick it back here for a minute and wait for people to come. If they come, they come. If they don't, they won't. It's been a hard journey. Um, it started off with a really bad Crohn's flare months ago, and I received a lot of support from followers on different platforms. And I decided that I didn't want to leave everyone that supported me in a bind or hanging. So I wanted to talk about it. The very first Crohn's flare that I had, it kept me in the hospital for a very long time. I was able to find a channel where there was music and dancing and fun and laughter and a lot of important stuff that was talked about. And when the music played, it was really kind of cool because the doctors would come in and it would be late at night and the nurses would come in and they would dance and they would have a place to hang out at, and it was a lot of fun. And they had a few shout outs, and of course I was laying there depleted, not knowing why I was depleted, and I'll get into that in my upcoming episodes. I would advise anyone that if they don't want to travel this journey alone, they're more than welcome to travel it with me. And I see Miss 808. Hi, my friend. I love you. Oh, the Merces. We can't forget the Merces. The Merces. And Dr. Tony. Dr. Tony, come home, Dr. Tony. I wish Dr. Tony was with me right now, Miss 808. He was a blast. Um, Thank you so much, by the way, while you're here, for texting me and keeping me on my toes, keeping me laughing without you. House call. Yes, definitely a house call, please. We need that little Italian. Hello, Amy. How are you? Good to see you. So, I have some, I don't know if you can see them. I kind of got beat up a little bit by IVs all over, trying not to wear the summer shirts, but they got me all around the muscles. When I first get there, I always beg for an IV finder. It's the first thing I request because I know, yeah, hopefully we can get a little bit more sun if it stops raining to cover up these bruises because they're huge and I can't show some of them. Only Dr. Tony gets to see those. But um, yeah, what started out as a Crohn flare, it depleted all my iron. It also depleted my entire kidney function. And those are two separate journeys that I'm gonna share, and I can't wait to share with everyone, because I know that a lot of people out there need it. I know a lot of people need to hear the story so they don't travel alone. Um, I just got home yesterday, and I can't believe that I'm up on my feet doing this today. The first thing I feel is so blessed that it happened. I don't know what happened, but they decided they wanted to boot me. This is my first day home. I got home yesterday. Um, Taking for granted the little things that count was number one, my bed and a silent night of sleep instead of hearing the bells and the whistles and the people and the shuffle. I mean, the emergency rooms are crazy right now. if y'all can stay out of it, stay out of it. Um, there are people lined up in the hallways in stretchers waiting to be seen, which was, I came in first on a stretcher by ambulance, so I was lucky enough to get a room right away in the ER, but it did take about 8 hours to get a room up on the floor. And I even was in critical status, and this was just this time. Yeah, there's a lot of viral stuff going on out there, so be prepared if you have to go. If you can, don't be like me though. I sat at home for like 3 weeks before I decided to get help, and I suffered. I suffered. Please don't suffer. If you need the emergency care, please go. Don't be afraid of what's out there. Wear your mask. Don't be afraid to wear a mask. Don't be embarrassed to wear a mask. I don't have any immune system, so I can't catch anything. Not even a cold. A cold can kick my ass straight up. It can wipe me out. I have to be my own advocate. If somebody's touching me and they don't wash their hands, I speak up. I have to speak up. Don't touch my food. Don't touch my controls. Wipe down. Um, so anyway, it's crowded out there, y'all. It's crowded in the hospitals. I'm sure 4th of July weekend it's going to be even worse with, the fireworks and the firework explosions and the burns and everybody being crazy. So when we got there, a lot of my counts were low, especially my iron. I only had an 18% saturation of iron. So along with that, my blood work also showed that I was low on red blood cell counts and I was high on white. So being low on red blood cell counts means that I was having an internal GI bleed. So I'm just giving you a few highlights before I do an episode of what was really wrong. So when they noticed that my red blood cell count was low, and they decided that not only was an iron infusion necessary, but also another blood infusion. While I was there, the reason why you see so many veins is because they popped. They popped about 4 or 5 veins trying to do the IV. And as I was saying, I think I was saying, when I come in, I try to ask them for the person who does the vein finder with the machine, the ultrasound machine. I beg for it because I know what's going to happen because I'm already dehydrated. And I know that nobody is going to find a vein. Nobody. And of course, you always get the one that says, I'm a pro, I'm a goat. This one's going to stay your entire stay. Oh, I'm glad that you think that you're the goat. And I'm glad that you think that I'm not going to be a pincushion, honey. But I always end up being one. So please don't tell me you're the goat unless your IV is going to stay on me for the entire time I'm there. Honor my request. That's all I ask. If you're a nurse and you're watching, honor the request. It hurts. It hurts. And when they start stabbing you, like right under the muscle, like this one right here, that one was right under my muscle. And it didn't take but 2 hours for it to explode. And then that one too. There you go. There it is. That one right there. You can't do my wrists. They're only tiny. I don't have a lot of room. Um, so you have to be your voice. Don't be afraid to speak up. Give somebody a shot and say you only have one shot and bring on someone else. So the first day that I was there, I got to go on my wonderful drug called prednisone. I know. I feel like I went 3 rounds with Tyson and then some. Thank you. um, I've also, one of the other things that I'm going to touch on my episodes is insurance. Insurance companies are taking us for a ride, and it's getting ridiculous. I found out that what I was taking infusion-wise for my Crohn's is no longer on the formulary list for. It's no longer. Okay, my YouTube is being crazy. It's no longer on the formulary list for prescription drugs. So, hey, Life Artist, good to see you. So that started, I found that out about 14 weeks ago. And it's taken me 14 weeks of my own work to find a new medicine. to use for my Crohn's disease. 14 weeks. Now, I did that all myself. I did that during a flare because I was so triggered about not having medicine. That stress is my biggest trigger. And I made it through. My new Crohn's medicine will be here next week. Yeah, the insurance companies are the worst. What they do, in my opinion only, now I don't work for an insurance company. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not a medical doctor by any means. But if they want to shine light on another company, on another maker, because one maker is making all the money and the next pharmaceutical company has to make another money, they're going to snag that from you, even though it was working for me for 2 years. I was in remission for 2 years with that drug. And then they want to take it from me. Okay, so you want to take that from me, but then you want me to spend five nights in the hospital? Let's weigh the costs there. What's going to cost more? My IV infusion or 5 nights in the hospital? I mean, I can do that simple math. So anyway, we'll be trying the next infusion, but they're not going to be infusions. They'll be self-injections, and I'm not looking forward to having to inject myself, but I have to. I gotta suck it up, buttercup, and do it. It is frustrating. It's so frustrating, life artist. It's so frustrating. Um, it was, I probably had 15 calls into my GI, which is not Dr. Tony. I probably had 15 calls into my GP, all unanswered, not willing to help me find another drug. Every little bit of research I did, every company that I found to help me, I did. And then I turned around and called my main GI, who pushed it along the way and got me the help that I needed. If I didn't stay vigilant, if I didn't stay active, if I didn't keep my voice, I would still be sitting here with nothing. Lord knows if I would have even gone to the emergency room. So be your own advocate. Speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up. You need to speak up. I know that I'm called a warrior, and I know that I'm called strong. And I love that. But I want everyone else that's fighting the battle along with me to know that they have the strength to be a warrior. They have the strength to be their own advocate. Exactly. So you've been doing it 28 years. Wow. My brother-in-law is a type 1 diabetic, and he's had it since, and not an infant, since about a toddler, 4 or 5 years old. If that's not a toddler, but since about 4 or 5. And yes, he's been injecting himself too that way. So I'll be getting my stuff in the mail, and I already have an injection specialist coming to help me out for the first round. And I will be doing those injections. The starter dose will be every 4 weeks, and then it'll go 8 weeks, every 8 weeks. So I'm not as bad as someone that has to take an injection every day, like a diabetes patient. Crohn's is a little bit different when you have to do self-inject. Starter dose is 4 weeks, and then you get to plateau at 8 weeks. And that's what I did with my infusion, but unfortunately, it was pulled from me. There are some benefits of the injection versus the infusion. The injections, at least you're comfortable and you're doing it at home. You don't have to go to a facility. You don't have to travel. I'm trying to see. Happy 21st. Oh, life, you got it on your 21st. That's so sad. Sorry to hear that. I hope everything's working out. But I'm doing good. Had dehydration issues, of course, because with the Crohn's flare comes everything that comes out of your body naturally, but only not naturally, triple it about 3 million times, and that's how fast it's coming out. And they can't pump the fluids in quick enough to get you right back at your levels. So all your levels start sinking in your blood work, your iron levels deplete. What is up with YouTube today? I hope that I'm freezing in all the right places and not looking like a dork. All your levels will deplete. And when I when they start taking the blood, though, when they start getting into the real important levels, like your kidney levels and your iron levels, that's when you know something is wrong. We knew something was wrong with the red blood cell count because it was so low. And of course, that led to a GI bleed. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Life. Um, so next we had to search for the GI bleed and where it was coming from and how we were going to stop that. But first of all, it was to make sure that it wasn't an aneurysm GI bleed, because of course that's life threatening. But anytime that you bleed internally, it's life threatening. And thank God that I have my little list of family members that are close by that I talk about. My I always have blood on hand, and it's saved for me there. But if it comes down to it, I have to trust in God that if it's not a family member, the blood's going to be okay. I mean, they do a lot of checking on it now, more so than they've ever done in the past. And I'm not so afraid of taking blood from somebody that I haven't received it from before. If it comes to life or death, I have absolutely thrown everything up into my higher power's hands. You know, my higher power is on this journey with me and walks beside me, and I get my guide from him. I get my guide from him. Sometimes it's a him, sometimes it's a her, sometimes it's my dog, sometimes it's my trees. My higher power is just my vibe. Whatever I feel the biggest vibe for, if it says go for it, go for it. If it says leave it alone, leave it alone. We just have to see what happens. Um, and as you know, I had the kidneys stopped working because once you start depleting all these things in your body, your organs just stop working. Um, and I'm proud to say that that has stood up amazingly, amazingly, and I cannot thank the person with the gift for me because I don't know who it is, but thanks be to God, absolutely. Thanks be to God that that person was put where God needed him to be and where I needed him to be. And I truly, truly hope that they're resting in peace. Say a short little prayer for a moment because that was truly a gift from God. So thank you. That was a very, very long, engaging journey. That's going to take a lot more than this little short live that I'm doing just to get everybody knowing and hopefully comfortable when I sit and talk about all this, because I know that a lot of people go through it. And like me, sometimes I'm embarrassed to talk about it. Sometimes I'm afraid to talk about it. Sometimes it's embarrassing to talk about. There's a lot of embarrassing stuff that goes along with Crohn's disease, that goes around with, especially Crohn's disease. The iron and the kidney, not so embarrassing, but there's a lot when you have an invisible disease and people can say, oh, you look great on the outside. But it's when you get to the inside and when you get to the personal parts and when you get to the very personal descriptions, it's very hard for me to put into words where I'm not freaking myself out. I'm not freaking my family members out. I'm not embarrassing anybody. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm not alone in this, and you don't know how much that means to me. 808, that means a lot. Um, and I'll get by. I just need to prepare for it. I need to be ready for it, and I need to have the right words that I want to say instead of having diarrhea of the mouth and spewing, because I know that I can do that. So, look forward to different episodes to talk about the insurance companies, different episodes to talk about the kidney journey, different episodes getting back on track with Crohn's medicine, how you can get back on track with Crohn's medicine, how not to be afraid of the insurance company. And It is healing. Paid my cable bill. I'm thinking I paid my cable bill. Not sure why my Wi-Fi keeps going out. You gotta love YouTube. They don't let me finish a sentence. But it is healing for me to talk about because it gets a lot of stress off of me. I get to spread the word to people who may need it. And that is my main goal, to let others know that they are not alone and don't have to be alone in this. I know that I have a very, very small circle of friends that I appreciate greatly that don't let me go through anything alone, in person, and people that are far away. The people that are far away, I probably talk to a whole lot more. And it just makes this lighter and easier to get through. And you guys know who you are. I don't have to say. You know who you are. The smaller, the better. I agree. There's only so much room on that stoop, right? That circle. You're waiting for referral for a new endo. They put it through, and now I have to wait for a letter in the mail. So if I'm understanding correctly, Life, you're on an HMO, not a PMO, where you have to get a referral to a specialist. See, I switched all that up. I want to be in control of my doctors. It's a little bit more, but I pay for a PMO, so I don't have to get that referral. If I need a specialist, I just go. And I'm so sorry that you're having to deal with that crap too, because it can not only be scary, it can be intimidating. It's almost like they're trying to play God. It's almost like your doctors are trying to play God. The pharmacist is trying to play God. The people in the hospital are trying to play God. It's like, no, I'm a human. There's no God involved in this. It's you and a patient. It's you and a patient that needs something. God is going to be there to help us get through it, but God is not going to be able to supply what I need from you right now. And maybe I can't wait 2 weeks for your referral. Maybe I can't wait 2 days. Yeah, that's a long time. I would be damned too. I'd be pissed. When I wasn't getting my phone calls back, my last phone call, my last message said that if I don't hear from somebody by Monday, I'm going to sit in the office until I actually speak with somebody. And I will sit there all day long until I actually speak to somebody. And you guys get me on the road to where I need to be to find out where I get my next dose of medicine from. Because 14 weeks without any Crohn's medicine, I knew what just happened was going to happen. And it could have happened a lot sooner, but stubborn me stayed home for 3 weeks. 3 weeks I stayed home and suffered because I was stubborn. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we have to do. We have to go to the ER. We have to go to the ER. Like, but that ER visit this time, like I said, the hallway was full of stretchers coming in from ambulances waiting for a room. They had a room set up that just had recliners where people sitting there waiting to see a doctor. Then they had the waiting room, and all three of them were overflowing. I don't know what's going on out there. I don't know if there's a new virus going on. I don't know if there's pneumonia, colds, what it is, but and I'm talking my town is just a small town. I didn't even go over to Daytona or Orlando or any of the big cities. I can't even imagine what big city hospitals look like right now. I'm just from a little oinky doink city in Florida. But I can imagine when, if I was up in Massachusetts and Boston or in the outside area of Boston, it must be a hell of a lot crowded than it is here. But it is torture. It is torture. It's unfair. And I, do everything possible before I go to the emergency room that I could do at home. There was just no more that I could do sitting here. Oh, Vegas, yeah. Yeah. It must be in Vegas. And don't you love when you sit there and you hear somebody in the ER? I'm here because I have a toothache. Huh? You're here because you have a toothache? Or I'm here, just the craziest reasons. And then they want to ask for something specific that they want for pain. I'm here for a toothache, but I think some fentanyl will knock that pain out. Oh, yeah, that's going to work. It's gonna knock everything out, and then you get that stigma too. If you're a rider and you go to the ER a lot, and if you're a frequent flyer to the ER, I got interrupted again. Sorry, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you're a frequent flyer, yes, exactly. You're doctor shopping, 808, you're doctor shopping, or you're trying to get a script. But you know what? No, they don't have any swelling in that tooth. They don't have any infection in that tooth. They don't have any pus in that tooth. So go home and put some damn Ambisol on it and get through it until you can see a dentist. Because you can't find a dentist out there that'll yank that thing right on out. You have somebody sitting next to you that might be going through a stroke, somebody that might be going through a heart attack, somebody that has lost life or limb, or somebody that needs an organ like I do. Can we have a doctor, please? I'm sorry about your toothache. I would love to give you an ice pack. Period. But, you know, I guess there's a reason that people go to the ER. A lot of reasons, and that's another thing that's driving me crazy about the ER. There's no HIPAA law anymore. Like, if you're putting all these people in one room, okay, a room full of recliners, and they're asking you your birthday, your address, where you live, your social. I'm saying all this. How do I know the person next to me don't have a family that's waiting for me to say all this information while I'm in the ER to go to my house and clean my house out? Because I'm sitting here in the ER giving away my birthday, my social, my address in front of all these people with no door. Where's the HIPAA law? You want me to sign all these papers about the HIPAA law, but you don't want to follow the HIPAA law. Oh, I know. I was hearing all kind of details about everybody that came in. My roommates. I mean, there's a curtain. I have no I have no what's the word I'm looking for? I have no immune system. I shouldn't even have a roommate. I shouldn't be sharing a bathroom with anybody. When I need a bathroom, I need a bathroom. So I should have a private room because if somebody even comes in with pneumonia and I get that, that's going to put me in ICU. I cannot afford it. But, as they're sitting there questioning her, I'm hearing all her answers, all her answers. And they want you to sign all these HIPAA laws that you're not going to break theirs, but they're standing there every day breaking all our HIPAA laws, all of them. Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Yeah, the soundproof curtain needs to be an iron curtain. HIPAA isn't a thing for anymore for some reason, and it's sad because it should be. It should be. I mean, they should at least try to give you a pen and a paper, and you can write these answers down, or an iPad. I see people checking in with iPads all the time. Let me put all this info in an iPad so I don't have to sit here and vocalize it in a hallway in front of all kind of strangers. Oh, girl, let me tell you about the Uber drive on the way home. I didn't have a ride home. I didn't want to call my son because he had the baby, and I didn't want him to have to bring the baby out to the emergency room area. So they said that they could set me up with a ride home. So I said, okay. I figured it was going to be like a medical van or something like that. It was this tiny little white car. Now we're in Florida, no AC, but it had an oscillating fan in the front seat. And this guy started asking me, how do I feel about men having to pay child support and women not having to? Uber, Uber, my Uber. So the Uber driver said, I feel like women should have to pay child support. And I'm like, dude, I just spent 5 days in the hospital. I don't have a brain to think about. I'm sorry that if you feel like you're paying too much or you're not paying enough or whatever. And then he wanted to go into all his mommy issues. My mom blocks me when she wants to block me. My mom doesn't take my calls when she wants to take. I'm like, are you not an adult with a job driving a Uber? Finally, I just put my head down and said, thank God we're only 5 minutes from home. Oh, I was about to melt. I was about to freak out on him. I'm like, if you're going to get married, the both of you should be picking each other up. The both of you should be working for the same goal. he was like, it's not like it's like it used to be back in the day where the man works and the woman sits at home. I'm like, oh my God, you're 25 and you think this way? That life is gone. Women can take care of themselves now. Right? I should have life artists. Yeah. 25. Okay, that's boot number 5. What are we gonna do here about that? It's because I didn't go on StreamYard. I should have went to StreamYard, but I didn't go to StreamYard. I just came straight here. So, and another thing I wanted to do was wish everybody a happy 4th. I'm sure everybody has plans and gonna get them hot dogs rolling and be outside. What does everybody have plans for the 4th? CC is here. Buddhists, we're still here. That's right. You can't take us away. You can't shut us up. They probably don't want me standing here talking about hospitals and insurance companies, I'm sure. But there's a lot to come, so stay tuned because I have a whole lot to fucking say. I'm not going to stop here, excuse my French, but it's to the point where I am that frustrated. Anyway, I am going to end for now. I'm going to finish my afternoon. I think we have a little shout out to Chimmy Speaks. I think she's going to have a live going sometime this weekend. I'm pretty sure she will. Rumor has it. So stay on the lookout for that. Um, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, oh, nice crispy hot dog. I'm just going to find out what Dr. Tony's doing and kind of like hang out, figure out where his vibe's going. So, yeah, that's what I hope Chimmy does. I love to hear Chimmy talk. I love to hear her bake, and I'm sure she's going to be baking up something spectacular for the holiday weekend. And I hope everyone has a great one. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody around this weekend. Peace and love. Ciao, babies.